Hi, everyone. Hi, Gilles, Bernard, Clément. Thank you for being with us today to discuss how the public and the private sectors can collaborate on health issues, and in particular with regards to AI. When we look back at the press during the COVID crisis, we could read some articles that said that AI was not of any help to solve the pandemic. Clément, you're the CEO of Synapse Medicine. What's your opinion on that? Alors, Clément, you're mute, so you will have to get back. Perfect, we can hear you.
Everyone, and that is that, of course, it's untrue. I think that when this first criticisms came, it was just too soon to tell if anything was effective. And for instance, I can give you an example of what we did at Synapse Medicine, that was truly helpful in order for France to manage the pandemic. So you may remember on the first Saturday of the first wave of COVID-19, our French Ministry of Health, Olivier Véran, tweeted information regarding some drugs that were supposed or that may be at risk to worsen COVID-19 symptoms. So he tweeted this information, and us at Synapse, with our deep knowledge and expertise on this kind of information regarding drugs, we knew that it was a good information, good scientific information, but it was a problem for patients because it was not easy to understand. And so what we did, we said to ourselves, okay, we have the AI platform that already have this information. We have this information about which drugs were at risk to worsen the COVID-19 symptoms. So how do we put that in the hand of patients? And so in less than 3 days, we were able to put a collaboration with the French Ministry of Health, with the French FDA, with the French Society of Pharmacology. So we worked during a Saturday and Sunday. We called everyone. Everyone made himself available. And in less than 3 days, we put a platform in place that is still in place, actually. It's COVID-19-drugsmedicament.com, and that had been used by more than 1 million French patients to date, and that truly helps patients manage their drugs and their chronic treatments during the pandemic. So, of course, at the beginning of the crisis, we didn't really communicate on that because we were just working, but we are not telling it. And so we have a good proof of AI actually helping patients with the help of public institutions such as the French Ministry of Health, and a good collaboration between a startup and public institutions. So.
All right. And now I guess that we are getting closer to a vaccine. Your implication would evolve. So how do you see the role of Synapse Medicine in this context?
I think if you look at the news today, all we talk about is the vaccine. And there is going to be a huge challenge about which kind of information we give to the public, and which kind of good information, and not to have, like we had fake news about the vaccine and the safety of the vaccine. And so we are already working on that at Synapse. We're already working on that with the French Ministry of Health and the French FDA in order to both monitor the safety of the vaccine in 2021 and give the good information in real time to the general public. I can't tell more about our action right now, but you will see. And once again, with the help of AI technology, because there's a lot of information, it's evolving really quick, and we need this algorithm in order to have up-to-date information. With the help of the AI technology and with the collaboration between a startup like us, Synapse Medicine, and French Ministry of Health and French FDA, we can work on putting this vaccine with a lot of safety for all the French people.
Thank you, Clément. Gilles, you're the CEO of Owkin. Owkin launched the COVID-19 Open AI consortium. What is this consortium? Who is engaged in it? And why did you feel the need to create such a consortium in the midst of the pandemic?
Hello, thank you very much for the question. So indeed, we were all shocked by the emergence of this pandemic, and we all felt at Owkin and among our network of collaborators in the academic world that there were a lot of questions that were unanswered in this new disease, which is very heterogeneous. There's a lot of different forms of COVID, and some people can be asymptomatic and other people can die about it. And you see a lot of complications, interactions with treatments and other comorbidities. And there is pretty much everything to discover and to understand, and we need to go very fast. So the idea was to do the same kind of things that we were doing in other therapeutic areas like oncology, but in the space of COVID-19, and to gather in a collaborative manner multiple academic partners, hospitals, biotech, pharma industry players as well, to jointly investigate some of the burning questions in the field of COVID-19. And in particular, we've launched two initiatives. One is around the prediction of COVID-19 severity. And the goal is to understand if we can identify very fast who are the patients that are going to go to ICU and who are the patients who are going to be fine. And there is a publication already submitted on that, and it's a collaboration with Institut Gustave Roussy, APHP, and INRIA. And the second topic we've launched is around the cardiovascular complications of COVID-19. There are a lot of interactions between this virus and the cardiovascular system due to the weight enter the body, and so we've launched also a consortium working with 5 different partners across Europe, in Spain, Portugal, Netherlands, and the UK and France, to gather the relevant data and to develop a statistical model and AI model to better characterize those cardiovascular complications and find better ways to treat patients with COVID-19.
Okay, thank you very much. And so you're based both in the US and in France. Do you see a difference of approach between France and the US in terms of collaboration between the public and the private sectors?
It's a good question. I think that there are a lot of differences, and the main difference we see through our position is probably the way academic medical centers work with private companies. In France, we see those CHU and big hospitals and cancer centers. They belong to the public sector in a sense. In the US, it's very different. Those very big hospitals or network like Mayo Clinic, like all the others, they have much more a private sector mindset, and they are very used to work with private companies, pharma companies, CROs, and so on. So it's their kind of everyday environment, and their innovation office are very used to collaborate at this level with multiple private companies. Of course, it's also the case in France. We have a lot of very good innovation offices in the academic medical centers, but the relationship is a bit more public-private, whereas in the US we have a sense of all being business partners, maybe.
Okay. And when you make a deal with a US institute or hospital, is it a one-by-one deal, or so is the deal fragmented and you have to renegotiate everything hospital by hospital, and is it the same in France? So in each country, how does it work?
So basically, it's pretty much the same on that side. We managed to sign a framework agreement or master agreement, whether the centers are located in France or other places in Europe or in the US. Maybe what what we can expect somehow in the US is the ability to partner with large networks like Mayo, like Intermountain, and other that are actually large networks of hospitals across the US, and we don't find, at least at the level of Europe, the similar scale in terms of networks.
Okay. Clément, do you want to add anything on that, either with regards to the US or a European market?
I think, like Gilles said, here in France, it's not always easy to partner with public institution in health, but I don't think it should be that easy, because we're talking health here. But like I said, it's really a public-private collaboration. And I used to work in the US, and like he said, it's more like a business partner, and we're all in that together in the US, and that's the main thing. So totally agree with Gilles.
Okay, thank you. I am now turning to Bernard. Bernard, you're the Digital Innovation and Research Advisor for the Paris region. You have a good experience of collaborating with startups and innovative companies. You've launched AI challenges in the health sector, in the industry sector, and in the green sector. Owkin actually won last year's AI for Health challenge. So why did you decide to launch those challenges, and what are the first results?
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Just I would like to say that region makes health AI as a priority since 2018, and especially in the field of health and industry. And our first challenge was launched in 2018, and Terra Panacea, this French startup, has won the first prize. But we wanted to go further, and that's why we set up this AI for Health challenge with Gustave Roussy, Europe's leading cancer center, to respond to clinical challenge. And but I think we will go further with Owkin about this scientific part and collaboration. But just wanted to say that it's a part of at the region. We are convinced that the easy access, deadline, cost to the health data is maybe today a key factor of success for the development of and validation of the future innovation in health, and also to structure the medical center. And also, as you know, maybe in Paris region, we have about the highest concentration of mathematicians, about 3,000 mathematicians. Paris-Saclay is ranked first in the world now in the Shanghai rank. So we have a quite good ecosystem in AI field, and we want. But anyway, we have to. We consider that the data. There are a lot of data, but maybe it's exploited because they are closed. If I remember the report of Deputy Villani, maybe it was 3 years ago, and we have to check, but he said that about 90% of the company don't share their data with other company or with the community, which maybe it's quite a high potential we don't use, and that's why region decided to organize such kind of challenge. We also consider that AI is an opportunity to re-industrialize us, and we have to build together this data industry, and we consider maybe that data industry are blocked due to the lack of favorable condition. I think for us, AI must be understood as an industrial sector, like tourism, like metallurgy. Today, we have to build this new industry, and this data industry should be, let's say, built in collaboration between private and public sector. That's why. So we have launched several challenges. I just also want to speak about the industrial challenge because a few days ago, Quantmetry, also a French company, has won the AI for Industry challenge. and collaborating with SNCF and Michelin, the French manufacturer. So that's why I think we could imagine a public-private partnership model. And also we have decided to launch a study with APHP to help them to develop an economic model around data, health data of APHP. Yes, so as you see, just few examples of what we have decided to launch. And we are very happy anyways about this first challenge between Gustave Roussy and Owkin. It seems that it's very valuable, but
Yes.
I think Gilles can speak about it.
Let's hear what Gilles has to say. So you won the AI for Health challenge last year, and you now work with Gustave Roussy, who is a hospital dedicated to cancer, which was recently ranked in the top 5 and the top 5 best cancer hospital in the world. So can you tell us more about your collaboration and how does it work?
Yeah, so first of all, I'd like to thank a lot the Région Île-de-France for putting these challenges in motion. I think it's critical for the ecosystem to have those initiatives, and it was very well organized and very well prepared with a lot of great scientific research that was put in the construction of those projects. So yeah, we are very happy to be able to collaborate with Gustave Roussy clinicians and scientists on a couple of projects that are designed to better understand breast cancer in particular, and how we can better predict the patients that are going to relapse in breast cancer. And this has a lot of implications for better patient care, for optimizing the treatment strategies, but also for helping all the new drugs that are being developed right now to be developed in a more efficient way, more cost-effective and faster, so that they can reach the right patient population at the end of the day. So the projects are really very important and very interesting, and we are lucky to collaborate with the leaders in the field, like Professor Fabrice André and his collaborators, who is really one of the world leaders in the field of breast cancer, and also to have access to high quality data that is being generated at Gustave Roussy with a lot of effort and energy to build those data sets. So it's not just taking data that is lying out there somewhere in the hospital. There is a lot of energy to be put to make this data fit for AI, and all that work can only be done with a good collaboration framework between the medical experts on the one side and the AI experts on the other side, the data scientists. And this is when you have those two categories of people that finds a common ground to work together, that you can start to generate value out of this data.
Okay, and did you have to train the team at Gustave Roussy, or did you find an already well-trained team?
The doctors at Gustave Roussy, no, yeah, they are fantastic, and they are already aware of a lot of the research in AI. But we have to be humble and to be trained on medical topics on the other side. But overall, yes, training, sharing a common language, and having the right tools and platforms that we can share, so we can work together on the same tools. I think is very important. Because this is when you start to share the language and the tool that you can make a great collaboration. And also the thing that is very important for AI in health is trust. Trust in the way we can partner between public and private on sensitive data from patients, and it's very important to think about the security, the traceability, the way we access remotely the data, and all this infrastructure that enable a good trust to appear. That is very important for the patient, very important for the doctors, and very, very important for all the citizens. And the trust is also the trust on the AI models, the AI applications that we develop, because there is still a lot of skepticism in the clinical world around the black box effect, around the lack of robustness of those tools, and so the more we co-develop those tools between AI experts and medical experts, right from the design, right from the what question do we want to solve, how do we gather the data, how do we interpret the results, how do we remove the artifacts and the biases, and how do we make something useful together. This is the only way to build the trust that is necessary for those AI solutions to come to the market and to the patients.
Thank you very much for this insight, Gilles. Bernard, it's all very exciting. So will you continue these challenges in AI, or maybe with other hospitals or other institutes?
Sorry. Yes, we have decided to launch the second challenge.
Great.
And with Institut Curie, which is also quite famous and well-known in Paris region and in Europe, and with APHP. We still continue in oncology. I think it's also a key point in Paris region, and many also big company like Sanofi and also big pharma wants to invest in this field. So we consider we have to reinforce this. And so we are going to launch it at the end of November, this new challenge, with 2 questions. To identify the diagnostic and predictive factor using artificial intelligence tools for liver cancer, for APHP, and also to develop and validate an algorithm to classify patients in bronchopulmonary cancer for Institut Curie. So this is, we continue. We also continue in the field of industry. We are going to launch Wednesday with President Valérie Pécresse and Éric Trappier, the CEO of Dassault Aviation, a new challenge based on the predictive maintenance for the aero industry. And we already planned some other challenge in the field of climate challenge, maybe next year. So
Great.
it's a quite interesting part, and it's quite interesting, a new way to collaborate or to support the collaboration. As you know, region used to support financially collaborative project with pôle de compétitivité and so on. And we try to renovate this way to collaborate, focusing on the data between startup, big group, or public organization, and so on.
That's very important, because after the COVID crisis, we did a study by France Digitale, and the main pain points for startups was to have access to clients, either private or public. So thank you for making that possible and create that this link in collaboration between clients. And so if we have startups wanting to apply to these challenges, it will be possible by the end of November. Is that it?
Yeah, for this health start in the field of health for startup, it's by the end of November. I think 1st of December, I think we should open the platform.
Okay.
And last year we got about 50, 60 startups which applied. And we have selected about 5 to 10 to discuss with them. And at the end, 1 or maybe 2 this year, because there are 2, let's say 2 questions. So it's maybe possible that we will get 2 companies, 2 startups, which we won the prize, $500,000 prize to make R&D. It's about 60% subsidy for them. Okay. So it's quite also incentive to work on it. And I think that the prize start to be also more and more famous. And when we've discussed with Quantmetry, it's also important for them to be recognized with such a prize, even if it's a beginning.
Thank you very much. And so, Clément, my last question will be for you. What can startups benefit from working with the public sector and vice versa?
I think there's a number of benefits, of course, but if I try to highlight just a few of them, I think the main one, at least for the startup, is to build trust. In healthcare, especially, trust is vital for startup, especially at the beginning of the life of the startup. And so public entities such as hospital, or once again the French Ministry of Health, or agencies, they are not working with everyone. So the startup they choose, the champions will be highlighted, and it will usually help the startup to build trust with business partner. I think for us, actually, at Synapse, it has been huge, and the fact that we were able to work in the first days of Synapse with public agencies actually helped us on the business part. The second thing is to bring expertise. And I think, of course, I'm thinking about hospital in France. We have absolutely world-leading hospital in the field of oncology, like we just said, but in other field of medicine, and really working with them is really can really help startup build expertise. And the last one could be as a growth channel. Like I said in my first intervention, we managed to help 1 million patients with our platform regarding COVID-19 drugs. And that was because the French Ministry of Health actually made a communication about this platform. And so that helped a lot on the growth part. And the last part was what could startup bring to public institution. And I think it's the speed. Like I said, we were able to build this platform in less than 3 days. That's not something a public agency can do. And so I think most of the time, public agencies and institutions can turn to startup in order to build on the speed of the process and the speed of the startup being able to build something really fast. So speed and trust.
Thank you very much, Clément. Thank you, Gilles. Thank you, Bernard. It was great talking to you. So let's keep chatting on the app. There is a networking app for this event. So thank you very much and have a good day.